Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Red Hare Inn, and welcome to the second session of Dust to Dust, our mini series here over at the Red Hare Inn, weaving some spoopy witchy themed vibes. I am your dungeon master, Taryn, also known as Valrook across the socials. So before I start setting mood and before I recap this last episode, thank you for joining us. Join our Discord, do the thing we have in chat roleplay. But let's go ahead and go around the horn real quick and tell us who you are and who you're playing, just real quick, and we will jump into the gameplay. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to go based off of my screen, and let's go ahead and start with Shelby.
Again, he did it again. My name is Shelby, aka Wish Warlock, and I will be playing Jules Devereaux tonight.
Alrighty, then Lizzie.
Hello, I'm Lizzie. You can find me on social media at the LizzieLD. You will also find me here on some Tuesday nights playing in Ecrion now. Very excited. And tonight I will be playing Granny Sophia. She's here because she has to be for some reason. It's to be yet untold. All right, let's move it right along.
All right, Daniel.
Hi everyone, my name is Daniel Lieberman, known by many simply as Dragon. I am one half of Dragon Rock RPG Design, where alongside my writing and design partner Renee Beauregard, we create supplemental material to be used in your games of D&D, whether it's subclasses, races, monsters, pretty much anything else you can think of. You can follow us at Dragon Rock RPG Design on Instagram and at Dragon Rock RPG on Twitter and Facebook. That's rock spelled R-O-C, no K, spelled like the giant mythical bird. Following us there, you can find everything both Renee and I are doing in the world of TTRPGs. You can also find several of our supplements on DM's Guild. They're all free, pay what you want supplements. So check them out, give them a rating and review if you like them, and I hope you enjoy what we do. You can also get in touch with us if you want to collaborate with us, either as consultants, co-designers, or if you want to commission something from us. And tonight, I'll be bringing back my rather tall, dark, and well, I guess he's kind of handsome, gem scale Gloomstalker Dragonborn, Kedek Nor.
Alrighty, April.
Hello, everyone. My name is April Hill. You can find me at stiletto_assassin on Instagram and stiletto DM on Twitter. And yeah, here playing Calypso and doing other stuff with the initiative order and here and Modifius because I'm the community manager over there. So also tomorrow is the chapter finale of our cyberpunk game over at Cybernation Uncensored. So you're going to want to check that out because some stuff's going to go down. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you like cyberpunk,
well, that isn't a tease.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, my name is Taryn, also known as Valrook across the socials, and you can catch me on all those socials at Valrook. I'm a dice maker under the moniker of Umbral Oculus Dice. It's _dice on the Instagram. And I'm the person in the Eldritch entity leading you all through this adventure. So last session, continuing your path down a rural pathway / road, not exactly well maintained, but well traveled. You continued business as usual after having a strange encounter at a local farm and encountering a strangely possessed chicken asking to play games. Of course, killed it, moved on with life. While progressing down this road, you encountered a small shack, a home. But the door was ajar. There were claw marks as it appeared on the outside of the door. And the inside of the home, regardless and ignoring the fact that there wasn't really much glass on the windows and it was very bright outside, the house itself on the inside was dark. Upon further investigation, reluctantly by most of you, You did find that it was actually human nail marks on the door being dragged back into the home. And you continued to find, after investigating the inside, more of those nail marks, broken furniture, and a broken bed frame with a piece of the bed frame seemingly used as a bludgeoning weapon because it had blood on it. You also, in this small shack, discovered a doll with curly blonde hair. It's kind of a sack doll, and it was rather smushy. Kai took it upon herself to stab the heart, unintentionally, mind you, that was on the inside of this doll. Taking note, continue to investigate. You hear giggling. But then you start to see something moving quickly by the windows. You investigate there. Nothing. It's moving too fast. There are strange plants growing on the outside as everything plant life surrounding this home is slowly dying. You tried asking the local birds, i.e. a chicken going down the road. Didn't work too well as it started freaking out saying blue lady and warning all of the other birds as they echoed through the fields. The party progressed, going further, figuring out really there were drag marks and strange holes in the ground along these drag marks. Eventually, you stumble on a rather eerie child's voice singing a nursery rhyme and come upon a bonfire and a little girl with black hair and a blue dress and a bludgeoned man about to be seemingly ritually sacrificed or something. You approached and then were intercepted by two scarecrows, which were very quickly handled by like 3 moves. Most other moves missed or did nothing, but however, didn't really matter. The little girl went about her business until being forcibly stopped and turned invisible. But it was too late for this gentleman. What you did discover was that it was very much some sort of ritual. There were bones, body parts, other things around. You also discovered on the inside of these scarecrows were live beating hearts. Kai stabbed one and then took the other in a jar of dirt. So now Kai has a jar of dirt with a heart in it. The party progressed further, seemingly going to the town nearest this event, hopefully in search of some kind of boarding and perhaps information on what the fuck was going on. You did then find the Daisy Bell Bed and Breakfast, and you did meet a one Dora Daybell, a small halfling, older female, very quick to gossip and spill the tea, very judgmental, but very kind to you, very welcoming, open door to all of you. Quickly set you up in a bed after spilling the beans about some curse and a witch and how she was haunting them because they burned her at the stake, which happens to be where the fountain is in town. And of course, what made her a witch was that she had weird herbs and was doing stuff. In spite of better instincts, one of you didn't really want to help in particular. But Carrick experienced a vision of someone dearly close to him, prying at him to help, pointing at the ghost of a woman at the city's center, of the town's center, of a female crying by the well. So it is in this nighttime, Kai, as you sleep, you begin to hear in your dreams the pulsing and flow of water. Home. There's an echo of a wail in the distance. It's calm. before there is a loud thump and a pulse that jolts your heart, followed by a deep, booming voice. You cannot make out what is being said, but it is angry, and it grows closer. The pulsing in the water grows closer. The water around you grows hot. There's something about this instant. As you open your eyes, the water is dark. You're alone. Before a bright streak of sunlight breaks the water above you, and you can hear voices coming from that bright light. The surface of the water. What does Kai do?
In my sleep or in
your sleep?
I frantically start looking around in the water, trying to see anything below me, looking around me frantically, looking for people, looking for other people, not paying attention to the light above me, looking more frantically for people below.
As you look below, it is a sea of hands.
I would try to swim down and grab them.
You swim and you start to pull. As you struggle and pull, that Thum erupts through the water again. It is a threat. You do not know what this voice is saying to you, but it is a threat.
I would continue to struggle to pull these hands up, but fear looming in my chest that I am not strong enough, and I would continue to pull and pull, and seeing that I'm not making any progress, I would let go reluctantly, keeping my eyes down below but swimming up to the surface to get help.
As you break the water's surface, there are 3 bright stars in the sky above you. It's nighttime, but there are 3 stars.
I would scream out in the night sky to help. Anybody, please, just help me. Help me save them. Help me save all of them.
There is a voice on the wind. This way. And as it calls to you, you see the shoreline approaching. It's almost as if it is racing to you.
With a sense of like almost vertigo on seeing this sight, I would dive once again back under the water just to try to see anything before I make my way to the voice.
A single eye opens underneath. Its pupil is twisted. And you cannot make out the details of what is surrounding it, but you can feel the water wriggling and writhing around it.
With fear, but also anger and grief in my voice, I will shout underneath the water at it in, we'll say in abyssal. I will scream out to it under the water. I will be back. I will be back for them. and I will be back to take you down.
And with that, Kai, you jolt up in bed. Sophia.
Yes.
You are awoken at the exact same time for a very different reason. The window to your bedroom swings open, and the wind rushes over your face. And in your ear, you hear, "This way."
Now? Right now. She very reluctantly shoves the covers off and goes to the window to look out at where that could even possibly mean.
You look outside. As you get up and walk over, you see Kai erupting from bed quickly, assuming naturally that it's the window that had to have woken Kai up.
Mhm.
You notice Carrick is already gone. You can smell food coming from downstairs, but as you look outside, you can see the market, the circle, like the square beginning to bustle. You can see people. I mean, I say bustling for this little village. But you can see. You can hear the laughter of children running in circles and playing. None of them look familiar to you at this moment, but you can see that the town is going.
Did I get any sort of specific sense aside from of this way?
It seemed more of like a get up.
Yeah. So she shuts the window, sort of grumbling under her breath. Stupid wind, stupid wind.
What is wrong with you?
What's wrong with me? Just getting woken up by pushy windows and wind, and it's just never leave me alone. That's what's wrong with me. I'll get over it. Sorry if I woke you up.
No, it wasn't you that woke me up. It's fine.
Are you alright?
Just old memories. Twisted memories.
Sorry that you didn't get a restful night's sleep then.
No, it's all right. The window, you closed it? Did you not open it?
No, it blew open.
Where? Were we all staying in the same room?
Mm-hmm. Kind of like a bunkhouse situation. You just notice that Carrick is gone, and you can hear the clanging of utensils. You can smell, there's some kind of warm smell starting to creep up into the stairwell, up into the room. Jules, are you awoken with any of this?
Yeah.
I'm not being quiet, so no,
No,
but you're out
same.
dead. You're out
I'm
cold.
sleeping. It
Not
has
for
to
long.
be loud. Oh no.
Yeah. So as you are sleeping, you are zoning all of this out easily until you feel that pinch on the back of your neck from a familiar feeling.
Dang it! Ah! I'm awake. Good morning.
Did you have a bad dream too?
I look at Granny. No, I did not. Felt like something bit me on the back of my neck.
I would go and look at your pillow and underneath your pillow and try to see any critters under there.
This place would have bed bugs, wouldn't it?
Speaking of bed bugs, where's Carrick?
Oh,
What does Carrick have to do with bed bugs? Quite
I don't
offensive.
know.
biggest bed bug I've ever seen, I guess.
Canon, Carrick is a bug. Gotcha.
Not canon, not canon.
Absolutely canon.
I will say you guys
He's
do
got
see
that.
something in his bed.
Is it a
You
bed
see-
Would you
bug?
like to describe what they see in your bed as they investigate?
An exquisite, maybe 8-inch long carving of a beautiful elven woman. You've seen Carrick whittling away on things before, but this one is finished. And every bit of it, as realistic as something that small and carved out of wood could be, it looks like it is a living person.
Do you think he turned into the carving?
That would
You
have
should
been.
stab it to see.
First of all, he obviously carves wood, so let's not jump the gun here. Second of all, if that was Carrick, I don't think we should just stab it and see what happens. If that were a serious concern,
Blitzel has been doing this the
That's
past day and a half. I feel like it's simple.
Well, with people turning into inanimate objects, I mean, I don't think Carrick's heart would fit inside the wooden carving, but I mean, that's a
I'm going-
possibility.
perhaps we should check downstairs before we jump to conclusions and ruin this nice statue.
Right. I'll just go ahead and pick that up. Hold on to it for the big guy, the big bed bug.
So you all, three of you, taking the statue, head downstairs. You, again, the clanging and the moving of pans and other cutlery starts to fill your ears fully now. They're in the kitchen. You can hear little bitty Dora, the little elderly little halfling, just talking Carrick's ear off. The entire time Carrick has been down here, constant. And it's just all nonsense stuff about like, oh, well, there were these flowers that were down the street. Well, we tried to grow them, but they didn't really grow right. So we had to dig them up and start over. Well, and those weren't great either because apparently they were out of season. So we tried these other ones that were supposed to be in season, but it turns out our climate's not quite right for them. So those were bad. And we had to start over because they just dried right out because there wasn't enough water. And this goes on. Carrick.
And you see Carrick kind of just listening and nodding his head and clearly not listening very much as he is cooking and chopping and cleaning, and it looks like a very practiced routine for him despite being in a kitchen that is not his. And
Oh no, it's
ever-
like, and it's small.
Yeah. so it's like, and so trying to circle around her as she keeps talking to him. But at this point, you're saying there are two pans going, one of which looks like it has some sort of rice dish in it, the other which is being used to lightly pan fry these large round leaves he has. And you see he's doing the dishes and putting away his chef's knives, which you notice again are of elven make, very explicitly elven, very clean, very well shaped, silver handles, Damascus blades, and wrapping them in. Oh, good, you're awake.
Oh, good, he's not a
Lisbeth,
statue.
why would I be a... Oh, the carving? Right.
It's
You left it.
Breakfast is...
okay. In their defense, I did not think you were a statue.
I am not surprised that that would not deceive you. He kind of just rolls his eyes. I made breakfast as a thank you to our host, and because I figured we could use a fresh start today.
Very kind of you.
And
Well, it was very kind of him. I was telling him all about how I was trying to grow a garden out over there, over in front of my friend's house over there. But you see, the flowers are just out of season and nothing wants to be growing right. And she kind of just goes on, like, keeps talking as like she's going to set the table, but just like doesn't stop.
I had some supplies of my own as well as some produce from the farmer, so I figured due to their shortage, I could supply both our host and us.
and he starts taking these lightly fried leaves and spooning this rice mixture with has veggies and mushrooms in it, as well as he turns and,
Is there anyone here who does not like meat?
Does it like what?
Meat.
Oh, I'm fine with it.
and so then he before he adds that the rice in, takes one of his knives and swiftly and deftly cuts some small pieces of cured meat that then get rolled into the rice dish. And what it actually is very much a risotto pressed between a fried leaf and wrapped as a breakfast wrap. And then he doles them out to everyone.
An elven delicacy.
So you are sitting at this kind of it's a circular dining table, kind of leads right into the kitchen. Like there's like a half door that sits there. It's like really squeaky and old, but it's a pretty quaint little setup. Big open, like big window, breakfast nook type setup that with the curtains kind of cracked, you can see people occasionally walking by. It's very bright and sunny outside. Jules, while you're sitting there, of course, you look into the kitchen and you see a rather plump woman and a rather thin one kind of phasing in and out and occasionally lifting a lid and smelling and then like saying something to each other under their breath and then opening the cabinets, looking at the spices, laughing and closing that.
So nosy. Oh my gosh. Can y'all not do this? This is not our kitchen. I whisper.
But it was very nice of Carrick to make us breakfast. And it
Oh.
seems like she didn't mind.
Right. No, that was wonderful. Carrick, thank you. Thank you. Do you want your statue?
I left it by the bed. Sure.
He
Okay.
takes it, looks at it for a moment, puts it in a pack on his back.
Right. Okay. Can I have double meat, please?
Of course.
Takes a little more, shaves it in, throws it.
What
That's
kind of
very
meat?
nice. That's a good question.
I believe it is some a cured pig.
Pig.
Yes.
It's pig.
Tastes like orca.
I've never had orca. I've had shark before, but never whale.
It's pretty
Um,
good.
And it's a very kind of rustic thing, but it's very well made. And as Carrick hands each of you your wraps and one to
Miss Bell. Something happened last night before we arrived here that I wanted to ask you about.
turns to Jules and then to Kai.
The two of you, you saw something at the fountain last night. Something that grandmother here and I did not. Tell me, was it a woman? Or the impression of a woman? Not quite there. Was she crying?
Impression would be more accurate, yes. Spectral in nature.
Ghost lady crying. Fountain. Yes.
There are two glaring eyes over the half door, just so you know, Jules.
Over where?
Like over the half door in the kitchen. They're like glaring at you right now.
Our host or her?
No, just her. This is all, Jules is the only one that sees that they're like, Just like arms crossed, like.
Did I?
As they just like back away.
I'm going through my mind. What did I do?
Miss Bell.
And I described the woman I saw last night.
Does that sound like Arlena Dartu to you?
She like sits there as her eyes kind of grow wide while you're describing this. She sits up, stands up, and somehow grows shorter from the table. Briskly runs into the kitchen. The doors fly open, and she comes out with this jar of white something and runs to her door and begins throwing it on the ground and going to the windows and throwing it across the windows. It's salt.
I'll take that as a yes.
Indeed.
Leaves the room and goes to the other room to start salting. You can hear salt hitting.
You have to leave this place at some point. Don't you? You can't stay locked in here forever. With your salted doors and windows.
That's not exactly true. My business is in here, and frankly, at this point, I'm pretty fucking sick of flowers. I'm good. I'll stay here till I'm dead. It's just like continue.
Do not worry, Miss Bell. The ghost did not come to your home.
It's
No,
super
it's
close
just-
though. Very close. It is
That's
very
my
close.
point.
Mhm.
That's right. That's my point.
Mhm.
Too
The
close.
fountain's right there. It's right in front of your door. Do you need more salt?
I've got more in the basement. As she goes.
You should put sugar around the window.
I don't think the ghost wants in here.
Probably not, but that was fun.
You can hear wrestling around downstairs.
That which I trust more than anything in this life or the next has sympathy for that woman and what she has suffered. I do not know if she was a witch. I know that she has suffered a loss.
How did you know about the woman if you did not see the woman like we did?
Because there are things I do not see. That the one I love most does. When I am lucky, she shares them with me.
I'm going to look over at Granny. Is there something that you're not telling us? Something going on between the two of you?
Oh, those days are long behind me. I'm sorry. It's not.
I'm afraid I am
think it-
spoken for. And
Yeah,
my wife was much older than you.
You've been
but did she look older than me?
speaking with your wife, but she is not here. One of those spells?
Not quite. That is just say that this is not the first time, nor will it be the last that I have touched those on the other side of death. I lost my wife a few years ago. I can't remember exactly, but when I did, she did the impossible. She saved me and she stayed with me.
I'm not sure if I should feel jealous that you still have a line to your loved one, or if I should pity you for being trapped to such a half connection.
It is mixed, to say the least. I am grateful every day for what I have, and I wish she had not sacrificed what she did to give us this. But that's not the point. She guided me to that woman. And that woman guided me to the city hall and the chapel. I do not know what we will find there. We still have the possibility. Calypso, you suggested investigating the grave of their child where their home once stood. That is another possibility. Ms. Bell suggested that this Arlena had had an affair with the mayor. Whether that is true or city rumor, I do not know, but there may be some connection to that at City Hall. I do not know what our best path is. Lashana was the investigator of the two of us. What I have are clues, paths we could take. I also know that some of you may wish to try and leave this place. I do not think our playmate will allow it. I do not even know if the child we met is Delphi, the child of Arlena. But these are the clues I have. And Lashana has asked me to do what I can for this specter. I will try. If you will help, I would be most grateful.
One of the windows slides up just ever slightly, so. And in the wind, you hear this way.
All of us, or
You.
yeah.
There is a chill that runs up the back of your neck, Kai, but you don't hear it.
I narrow my eyes at the window. Breakfast still. All right. I think that we should investigate the homestead first. See, we've heard one impression in town. I would like to see where they lived.
Calypso, Jules.
Yes. Might as well.
I'm fine.
Ahem.
Oh, what's that? Was that?
On the other side, like standing behind everybody.
I look. Yes, let us investigate. See what we can apprise of the situation here. Homestead, sure. Let's go with Homestead.
They kind of
Jules.
just phase.
You do not have to do this if you do not wish to. But I feel it is important to tell you one thing I have learned. Bravery is not the absence of fear.
Oh God, here we go.
You've heard this before.
It is the willingness to face it.
Thank you for that.
You swear you
what?
could hear a snap.
Feel so much wiser now. Can we go?
Not nice to be sarcastic with your elders.
Jesus.
There's like 3
I don't think
snaps
we
after
don't
that.
know. Don't think we can't tell just because we're not young like you are.
I am an adult.
Yes, but you're not
I
old.
turn to Calypso and just go, why do I think I'm not the only one who hears voices in my head?
I mean, don't we all?
Mm-mm.
That does not surprise me in the least.
Tara cleans up the last of the dishes. And I assume our host is still in the basement making a ruckus.
Oh yeah, you can hear all kinds of stuff.
Granny like grabs her walking cane, like knocks on the door to the basement, and just says, "We're going out. We'll try not to disturb your salt. By the way, a window opened." She just sort of chuckles.
Shite! Yeah, you just begin to hear that comes and slams the window and is like pouring the salt back. You can just see frantic, she's definitely got some candles going. You can see that like she's prepping something. It's all preparations to repel whatever.
She does know most of that stuff won't work, right?
Never hurts to try. And she's like,
All right, let's go.
so you're going to go find the homestead.
Based on what they, because Ms. Bell did give us a little description of
It was
outside.
Yeah, it's just outside of town. So you kind of make your way out that direction, leaving just the edge. You definitely turn some heads as even you're leaving the bed and breakfast. Immediately, you see one family across the way, all in black, and you can see people bringing food to their door. As you begin to head out and you happen to pass the way that all of the buildings, it seems, in this town, regardless of whether they're a vendor or a home in town, seem to be built a business on the bottom, living quarters on the top, or it's just a double stack and the whole building is the home. They're very modular in that regard, very thrown to, but even in the daylight you can see how kind of dilapidated this is all becoming. For an area that doesn't receive constant humidity and rain, this wood is really not looking well. It looks like it's been sitting next to a pier. It's just decaying. But as you pass by this family's home, the doors open to the home people visiting. You pass by and you do see the recently departed. A female made up in a white dress with her curly blonde locks resting on a satin pillow. You see a child and a husband sitting beside on the other end. As everyone comes through, leaving food and wishes, you turn heads because there's this somber occasion going on. And you are some strange people coming through their town. These are majorly human. There's some halfling, a couple of elvish you can see here and there, but it seems to just be a lot of working folk. Occasionally there's a couple of Goliath. You see further down, you can hear fires roaring, seemingly a blacksmith. There's the tinging of hammers. See a minotaur across the way pulling a heavy cart coming out from the other side of the edge of town, hauling in bales of hay. But they're quaint people. However, to see the likes of you all coming through together, no less, you're catching looks. But you make your way out of town.
I mean, particularly the 6'5" dragonborn and the blue sea witch tend to stand out.
Old lady, yeah, that's
what I'm saying. Particularly that you're together, you don't look like you fit in there.
Oh, these people are nosy.
Yes, they are. You definitely pick up on that. They are nosy.
Yeah.
Nosy. I will say you would have seen, in particular on the visitation, you would have seen a man in a very nice pressed red velvet kind of overcoat, kind of bulby in shape, stick legs a little bit, but clearly some wealthier figure in this town.
Someone mayoral looking even.
Maybe.
Are
You
they
can make
wearing
an
a badge
insight
of
check.
office? No.
You could definitely make an insight check, but this person is fairly wealthy, coming through the town and is greeting as you're going through. You exit the town, down another one of these worn paths. Definitely has the 2 tracks for like a wagon, but this path is far less traveled. And the further you go down this path, the more of it is overgrown. Most other things around look pretty dead. You keep seeing, as you're going, there are patches of death, of crops failing, of just patches of grass not growing. And it's not as though they're just dry. They are decaying. They are rancid. The smell is not good when you pass these patches. But this becomes overgrown. There is no decay here. You continue further until up on a hill there is a quaint shack similar to the one you'd seen before, but in much worse disrepair, as it was clearly lit on fire at one point. Bare framework is left, and not much else surrounds it. But there you are.
Before we delve in here, I did roll a check when you talked about the mayor.
Yeah.
Do you want an insight investigation? Doesn't matter. It was a natural 20.
Insight. And yeah, no. I will say very clearly, this
26.
person had some form of authority. It would easily be either a prominent religious or mayoral type figure. Clearly had money. Definitely didn't look like any kind of law enforcement. Like they're too fat. They're too well off for this town. Most of the people you were seeing were like spindly or kind of cut. They're working people or they're poor. There was no in between. So
comfortable behind a desk.
Yes. I mean, you have a pretty good feeling that's probably more than likely, because it doesn't really fit anybody else. But you do arrive. So for those of you who would like to, roll a perception check.
$21 for Carrick.
19.
14.
17.
And I will say, so first off, there is no dead anything around this house. Nothing is dead here. In fact, up by the house, you'll notice there are small yellow flowers growing around it, just overgrown, almost covering up whatever wretch was there before, whatever horror had taken place here. It's oddly pleasant compared to some of the feelings you've had over the last 24 hours. As you approach further up, you see what remains of the framework. What once was a brick home. Not wood, but brick has fallen in. This home was old. But you can tell by the shape of the bricks and everything, it was homemade. They built this house together. You can see, based on the stepping stones up to the house that are placed in the shape of hearts, it was done with love. Out in the back, you see a stone with small purple flowers growing around it. And next to it, there's a larger stone. Also taken over by plant growth small yellow buds. There's a slight breeze in the air. There is some kind of writing on them, if you choose to look at it.
Mhm.
One of them does say Vischak, my beloved. And the other just says, my darling Delphi. And it is
Darling what?
my darling Delphi. And this is not well carved. This is by hand.
So there are flowers growing here, and something is obviously not right or too right.
I agree. The destruction here is the work of the people, not of whatever curse, for lack of a better word, afflicts these landscapes. This place seems strangely immune to it. My question is, do we see what lies beneath here? Or is it worth disturbing? Whatever the truth of this Arlena woman was, what were clearly acts of love.
Do the graves look disturbed? Like the ground
No.
and everything?
Not at all. And I mean, I will say, you can also tell, there is a way into the home.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
what I'm
into the home is like a strong word because there's not much going into. It's like, kind of half a
But there's
wall and
enough
then-
that we could explore what was inside.
Yeah, because there are remnants of a little bit of furniture, a fireplace, things of that nature. There are remnants. Doesn't look like this place has been disturbed in a long time. In fact, on your way up here by the pathway to the house, there was like lots of jars and things that you can tell people were putting there to try to stop anything from leaving the house. It's superstitious immediately.
I take it a lot of it is stuff, though, that those of us who may have encountered things like this before immediately are like, yeah, that shit doesn't work. That's just
Oh, yeah. No.
hogwash. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, if we have reason to believe that we must delve beneath, then we will. But I would rather see what can be found within. When I see the only thing here, since we arrived in this town, that looks like it was an act of kindness.
But there was no mistaking that it was a little girl, or at least the form of a little girl.
But was it Delphi? If it was Delphi, was it even their body? I'm not saying we don't. I'm just saying it's not necessarily what I want to start with. Perhaps we can look inside the home?
I have to agree, I'm loath to disturb this.
Yes.
Granny closes her eyes and seems to sort of meditate, and she's kind of feeling the breeze to see if it's pushing her anywhere.
Roll charisma.
Straight charisma? Is it 14.
14. As you stare and you're looking down at these graves, there is a chill that runs to the right side of your neck, down your arm, and almost whips your arm up towards the house.
I think I'll go look at the house first. Stretch. So Granny just hobbles away and starts walking the house.
I'll follow Granny.
Yes.
Okay.
It's not hard to get into the house. There are doorways that could be opened. What's left of a door. As you step around, they're just kind of crunching a little bit. At this point, it's mostly dust. A lot of any ashes have obviously been long since blown away. There's just kind of some dirt, some sand.
Does it look like people have traipsed through at all recently? Like, are there? No.
Not at all. Very undisturbed. In fact, as you're stepping, you have this sense that these are the first steps taken in this house in a long time. You begin to make your way through. You can see now, coming into and kind of looking down almost at what was a floor plan. You can see kind of a cozy living area attached to a small kitchen, as what seemingly would have been an iron stove is still standing. It's just kind of covered in busted wood and remnants of stone from the collapse of a home. You can see 2 bedrooms, only because there are springs left from a mattress in one. Very primitive. Not what we would see. Like, very early forms of any kind. But enough that you have the idea that that's kind of what was going on here. This is a cozy home. In the child's room, there's a toy box covered in a large log across the top. The only reason you know is there's just a little bit of the paint still left on the outside that has teddy bears and sunflowers. But the home is yours to explore. It's a bright and beautiful day outside. Cool breeze on the air.
Carrick, I'm going to start looking for. Obviously, things would have been largely burned, but the remains of these supposed herbs and whatever sort of things like that might be around. And it's not so much that I'm an expert, but what I'd like to do is, with what knowledge I do have, try and determine if what I find is the remnants of something potentially occult or more like, medicine and basic herbalism.
Okay, then roll me an investigation check for that. We'll go down the list. So, Jules, what are you looking for while you're in here? Or are you just hanging out trying to not be haunted?
I'll be useful today. I will look for. I feel like ghosts are my thing. Can I look for like any signs of a ghost? Anything that? What am I trying to think of? I guess just signs. I'll stick with that. Just any signs of a ghost. Maybe they frequent here to live up the good old days before, the terribleness.
Yeah. Investigation, I will say. I'll say investigation or insight. I'll allow either of those for that one. Sophia.
I want to look for anything about the child. So I think I'd probably look through the toy box, but I guess I'm trying to look for any connection to the child we saw.
Okay. Investigation as well. Kai. What are you doing?
If Carrick made his intentions known, I would be helping try to identify anything that he finds. I feel like I would be better suited to identify the things so I would be helping with that.
Then go ahead and I'll allow you to make nature check. What was your investigation, Carrick?
19.
19. And Kai, what was that one?
Would you allow medicine over nature?
I would, if you're specifically looking to see the nature of the herbs that you're looking at.
Oh gosh. 9.
9. Okay.
If it's not seaweed and kelp,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. And before we forget, Sophia, what was your
6.
Our rolls.
actually with okay, let me get Jules first. Jules?
23.
Nice.
2 high rolls, 2 low rolls. That's
Yeah,
okay.
That's great. Kai and Sophia, can you please roll me a d20?
I guess.
Ooh, this one kind of matches like the one.
15.
So I'm gonna roll one of yours.
What was that?
This is one of yours, and it kind of matches mine.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. All right, what were the
17.
rolls? 17 and
2.
gotcha.
Dang it, Taryn.
Knows the story.
Salad.
Okay. So we'll start with Sophia. It's very simple. You want to look through this toy chest, but you cannot get to it. You have found the toy chest. This is great. But there is a large piece of wood on top of it. So as you go to look, currently you are hindered currently by the fact that there is a large chunk of wood over the top of this chest. So you are fidgeting with this at the same time as Carrick and Kai. Carrick, you find, kind of looking through some of these cabinets, you find a bunch of jars of herbs. Kai, looking at these herbs, these are completely unfamiliar to you. I mean, they're packaged very neatly. They don't look innately odd, even. They look simple sagebrush, things of this nature, rosemary. Carrick, as you're looking at them, you notice there's some mint, a couple things like that you're like, these are salves. And it dawns on you that they had been told that the child was ill.
Yeah.
These
So I see nothing that doesn't look like herbalism.
nothing that strikes you instantly. I mean, some of these are even like you could regard just as spices. So this isn't anything.
Yep. Suspicions confirmed. Okay.
Jules, as you are looking around trying to get that feel, there is as you see one of your aunties.
I wordlessly follow.
As you look around the corner, just out on the hill looking down at the city, there's just for a second a smoky glimmer of a man sitting atop a hill looking down towards the hamlet.
And it's a man.
Mm-hmm.
Do I get any features when I see the man on the hill?
All you can tell is his visage is very smoky.
Okay.
You can tell he's got broad shoulders, shoulder-length hair. As he turns to look back at you, you just see embers in his eyes. As he just kind of dissipates.
How many ghosts does this town have?
Do you follow where the embers go?
Oh, the embers stayed, but the man.
Well, like as it dissipates, do you roll me a perception?
No.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, that's an actual no. That's a natural one.
You do not see,
Shelby.
sadly.
2 things on the natural one. 1, you have a thing that happens on a natural 1, and 2, you're a halfling, so natural ones aren't natural ones for you.
My first one is. My first one is.
Yes, it is. So would you like to do the thing? I'll let you do the thing.
So, as Jules is staring out, gets freaked out by the man that dissipates. So many ghosts. So, oh, there it goes. There. And then I think everyone in the house would then hear Jules screaming.
Yes.
Oh, I have to roll.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 6. I don't know what that is. Keep going while I find out.
So, you begin to hear Jules screaming. I will allow perception checks all the way around. Apart from Jules, who rolled a natural 1.
Mm-hmm.
16.
Nice.
18.
9.
It's a D4.
So, Kai and Carrick, you smell smoke and instantly look up. And you do see smoke coalescing out in the field by the house briefly before just stopping. It just kind of like comes to a point. But you hear Jules screaming is your knee jerk. Very shortly.
Yeah,
thereafter.
I'll vault out of the house and run to Jules.
I would follow behind.
I would also.
What do they come upon?
As soon as Carrick reaches me, because I feel like he'd be the first one, Jules starts screaming. As soon as I see him, I just start screaming. Ah! Bedbug!
Bedbug.
You're huge. You're huge! I start like crawling away as I'm having a panic attack. Why are you so big?
Jules,
He's
it's
so
me,
big.
it's Kerek. Do either of you know what this is about?
No. Jules?
Granny!
Yeah? Alright, you know who I am. Alright,
No.
what the hell? What can I help you with?
Get Carrick away from me right now.
Carrot, would you mind giving her some space while we figure out what's going on?
Not at all.
Starts
Carrick
backing
didn't-
away.
Carrick didn't do anything to you. He was with me this whole time.
I know,
What's
but
going
he's so big. And his scales are so black. I'm okay. It's just, I don't think he should be running up on people like that.
We were concerned for you. You were screaming.
Yeah.
Was I?
Yes, what happened?
Sorry about that. I saw a man out there, out in the fields. Ghost man. I'm sorry, ghost man.
Okay.
I look back. Is there anything there or no?
Nope.
He was there. Now he's gone. I'm sorry about that, Carrick. You're good. You can come back in.
Did he try to attack you?
Carrick? No, of course not.
No, the ghost man.
Oh no, he looked really sad. Very sad. Had some stuff in his eyes.
Perhaps
Stuff in his eyes?
Yeah, they glowed like embers.
Like embers?
Yes.
Was there smoke?
I didn't see any smoke.
Well, he seemed to emanate smoke. He was like made of it.
Oh, I saw smoke. He was smoke.
Perhaps
Which-
it's the husband.
Which instantly does not add up to you.
To me,
So- no,
Okay.
it doesn't add up to any of you. You
Oh.
were told that.
He disappeared sometime before the house was burned.
Mhm.
His headstone was there, right?
Yes.
I did not connect those two characters. So smart.
He-
So sorry.
Um,
Sorry about earlier.
If
Again.
this was well, is it something I did?
No. You were big. You were there. Let's not mention it again. So the man was smoking. But that doesn't make sense, right? Because he should not have been here.
And it is his wife who was burned.
Yes. And she, if we are to believe correctly, is the woman we saw by the fountain crying. Right? I'm just trying to get all my ducks in a row.
Maybe he saw her burning.
Or he was in the house after all. Wait,
He
what
didn't.
was the time? But was the house burned after her? I can't remember.
The house was burned after her, from what we've been told, if it is any of it is true. The daughter was sick. The daughter got better. And then the daughter either died or disappeared. They thought that she'd been buried, which we have seen evidence of, and the husband disappeared. The house was burned supposedly when they determined she was a witch and then burned her at the stake. You may be right, perhaps his soul is burning to do with the burning of the house. He
Or
may
the
also
townsfolk are lying, and they burned the child and husband.
I believe that
then
one.
why are there graves?
Right.
Graves that I know this seems strange, but I feel were carved with love.
True.
I will say I know better than any that the bonds of love can do strange things with death. It is possible that he burns for the house. It is possible that he burns because she did. I don't know we have that answer.
Where did you say you saw it? Where did you say you saw him?
On the hill out there, and I point. He was looking at the city. Ooh, was it sad, DM? Was it a sad look? So he was very sad, but he was looking down at the city. Not
Granny
vengeful.
Like, without a word, she just turns and starts marching up in that direction.
Oh, Granny's leaving. Granny's leaving. I follow Granny.
Granny, before
What
you
was in the box?
leave,
Walk and talk.
no, there was smoke. Calypso, did you see it? When Jules screamed, there was smoke. And then there was not.
Did I say that?
We will go shortly, grandmother, but
And I moved to where I saw smoke.
Okay. So do you all go or do you split?
Split the party.
I mean, we'll be within eye line of each other, right?
Yeah, you're not that far away.
I'll
I'm
stay.
gonna-
Yeah, I'll stay with Granny.
Oh gosh.
So you go off.
Staying with Carrick.
So you arrive at the hill. As you arrive at the hilltop,
Uh-oh, we did split the healers. No.
I have
So as-
healing, I think.
So as you arrive at the hilltop, there is a small spot where there is just like kind of a soot spot. And it is, as you stand just over, you can see a direct eye line to the center of town and to the water fountain.
Granny.
What?
Is this as creepy as Carrick and his wife's connection?
Oh, I won't pass judgment on that.
But it's creepy though, right? You get that, right?
Down the hill, two females are looking up towards you, Jules. Just all the sass.
I'll stop talking now.
They just dissipate.
Love does strange things. And people do stupid things for love.
There's a slight breeze over your shoulder.
I just try and shake it off.
Oh, you cold, Granny?
And I just felt a chill.
Oh, well.
Well, I sort of prod that soot mark with my cane.
Mm-hmm.
Just look, is it like dust?
It almost instantly just dusts away as though nothing was there.
Okay, I want to look around to see if there is any other signs of this area being disturbed. Like, I don't know what exactly, but like, did somebody die in this spot, or was there like a spot where the grass is worn thin because someone always stood here, or like, like marks of a living person? Or
I will allow one more investigation check as you are specifically looking for those details.
Mhm.
I will either allow investigation check with advantage or each of you to make an investigation check.
You can have advantage.
All right.
Granny.
Go. Oh, that's a natural 20 and an 18, but we'll take the natural 20 plus 4, so 24.
So you head back to the house and you begin to rummage, this time in detail, and you do have Jules helping.
Yeah.
And so that's where we're going to leave you for the moment as you're looking. Actually, as you're looking, continue to search. You manage to lift the toy box. It's empty. There is a single bright red shiny ball at the bottom. Not weathered, not burned, just hanging out.
Didn't we see a red ball at the other house?
Yep.
That just rolled out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. But I will say you kind of continue going again, using your gut, your search. You just and continue. There's something under the bed. And with that, we go to Carrick and Kai. You begin to make your way, and there's the large hilltop, but you know where the smoke seemed to coalesce, so you head in that direction. You head down and around this slight little valley, and you start to hear as the sound of wood hitting the ground. Until hopping down the trail in front of you is a scarecrow.
They're back. See, I told you. I should have stabbed the other one. Oh, wait, I did.
This one is a sack head, kind of crudely done in a lot of ways. Has just this tuft of straw hair, cob pipe. Its arms are bound up on the post, kind of floppy looking, very aged, as it's just kind of hopping towards you. Not aggressively.
Derek still takes the bow out, has it.
Continues.
Stop right there. What are you doing?
It stops and kind of wobbles back and forth, and you see like the hand kind of like attempt a wave. It has two button eyes, one larger than the other. There is no mouth.
Can you understand us? Is there any way you can speak to us?
Kind of like sitting there like,
Have you seen a little girl? Do you have a heart inside of you?
hops a couple towards you.
How far away is it?
He's like 10 feet, maybe 15, depending on how close you would let him get.
That is close enough.
Stops and kind of wobbles.
What are you doing out here?
I think we need to keep our questions to yes or no.
It's like snaps its fingers, like trying to, and is like pointing at that.
I wonder if we draw a mouth on it, if it can speak.
Hops
Carrick
forward.
notches the bow, just pulls back the bow.
If you want to try, I will cover you.
Okay. I probably have.
I would say, I mean, you probably have some kind of, I mean, anything.
Writing
that I-
instrument of some sort.
Yeah, whether that's
Yeah, I will I will have my hand up ready to just do a touch, like some kind of touch spell or something.
Mhm.
Gosh, I don't really have anything. I would have my dagger ready. There we go, a dagger ready. And then I'm just going over there with like some charcoal coal, and I'm just like
as you approach, the post just kind of leans forward, like for you to do it, like, and stands at like a 45-degree angle. This does not make sense with physics, but it's working.
I'm just like, I just draw like a weird, creepy, opened moon shape on his face.
It has been a really long time since I've been able to talk. Hi, how are you? Oh my god. Ah,
I didn't think that it would actually work.
May I ask, who are you?
my name is Jack.
Of course it is.
We're all Jack. But I'm Jack.
Were you somebody else before you were this?
I don't remember.
You said
You know
there's
how
more?
nice it is to talk after not talking for so long? They could have at least given me a mouth. I really appreciate this.
You're welcome.
Who gave you, made you as you are? Do you know?
No. But I do. But I can't say. But I know. But I don't.
Was it a little girl?
Oh. One of them.
One of the ones who made you.
I don't know their names.
How many others were there?
Sitting there, like up on the post. 3.
Were they a woman and a man?
Oh no.
Other scarecrows?
Oh no.
What were they?
I don't know. They're not very nice, though. Not like you guys. You gave me a mouth. This is really cool. I really appreciate this. Hey, who was your friend over there, by the way? They were looking at me, and I think I kind of scared them because I heard some screaming, and I was going to come check on them, but then I figured out they probably wouldn't have thought anything good of it because I'd probably just scare them because it's not every day you see a scarecrow, you know, hopping around, coming to say hi. My name is Jack, by the way, but, you know...
You scared our friend, a short, dark-skinned woman.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I just like to sit and look at the town. Don't know why, but it makes me sad.
Does the name Arlena mean something to you?
And you see this happy face just turn downward. And you see the head begin to frantically move back and forth before the scarecrow just falls over.
Like stops moving, falls over, or falls
Yeah,
over
it just
like
goes inanimate.
I
And
think
as
you
it
can heart attack.
it like props back up and goes, "Hey, my name's Jack. Nice to meet you. Who are you
Do it
guys?"
Do it again. Do it again. I think you hard reset it.
My name is Kerek. This
name's
is
Jack.
Calypso.
I didn't know I could talk.
I gave
Did
you a
you?
mouth.
Oh, that's really cool. Thank you. You're really nice. You know that. So what you doing?
Trying to learn about this place.
Yeah, it's a sad place. It's kind of lonely up here. Nobody ever comes here anymore.
Do you remember what it is like when people did come here? When you were not alone up here?
No. Not really. Not really.
I am sorry for what you have suffered, Jack.
Yeah, my name's Jack.
Would you like to come meet our friends?
Sure. And just starts hopping.
Oh, this is
Like
going
the
to be
hat.
good.
So, Sophia and Jules, as you investigate this house, there's something under the bed. You move a few timbers with the assistance of Jules. And there's a charred bone sticking out from under the furniture.
Oh, I don't like that. No.
So there was someone definitely inside the house when it burned.
If you continue to pull back, you will find somebody bound and the charred remains under the bed.
Whatever
At this
found
point,
survive
yeah,
the fire.
chains. And this is a skeleton.
How big is the skeleton?
About 6 foot tall. Rather broad shouldered.
Okay, so let's.
This is bad. This is terrible. Actually, I'm just gonna skip right to it. This is real bad and real terrible.
Oh,
We still want to save this town?
maybe we need to. I think we need to solve the harm done here one way or the other.
Wait, if this might be who I think it is, what's buried out in the back?
Well, that is the question, isn't it? I think perhaps we do have to do something rather dreadful.
Cool.
So as you say that and those words leave your mouth, you look over at the edge of the hill as Carrick and Kai are accompanied by a very happy looking scarecrow.
Sounds What? Jules, are you seeing that?
Yep.
It looks like it's waving.
Yep. I am. I'm seeing it. I don't like it, but I am seeing it.
It's just a really weird day. Very strange day. All right.
Hi, I'm
Look what we
Jack.
found.
As it approaches, and that is where we're going to take a quick 10-minute break. Let everybody get up and get around for a second. So we will be back right after that to see if you guys dig up some graves. And you guys all get to meet Jack, the happiest of Scarecrow boys that we love. Jack is amazing. I love Jack.
I
And
love Jack. I haven't even met him yet, but I love him.
Yeah, Jack is awesome.
So, with that, we'll be right back in about 10 minutes. So stick around, stay tuned, do the thing, join our Discord, come hang out, do the things, and so we'll be back. Welcome back. So, last we left, you guys woke up, had your conversation with Tea Lady, who decided to salt her entire house after being spooked by all of you, after you telling her that there's a ghost outside of her house. You chose to then investigate the former home of the Dar2 family, where Arlena, the supposed witch and murdered witch, had previously lived with her family. On your way out of the town, you did come across a funeral for a woman with golden blonde curly locks, and continued on your way, noting that there was some kind of fairly prominent figure. Investigating the house, fumbling around a little bit, finding, general herbs and spices, seeing a smoldering ghost boy, and then stumbling into a happy, unable to talk Scarecrow that's been given a mouth. And he loves it. At this exact same time, however, Sophia and Jules find a scorched skeletal body wrapped in chains under the bed. And this is when Kai, Carrick, and Jack come springing up the hill as Jack is waving his little arm off of his post saying, "I'm Jack!"
Watch your step, Jack. Don't fall down.
That one, I know that one because there's this thing that gets sang sometimes, and it's Jack and Jill. And yeah, no, that hurts.
I look at Carrick and go, what?
Jack expressed his apologies for scaring you earlier.
I scared you?
That's not
When
what
did
I saw.
It is what you just saw.
I'm so sorry if I try not to be scary, but it is my job, I'm hanging out.
I saw a smoke man.
I know. But before they were a scarecrow, they were a different Jack.
Except this one is a nice scarecrow for now.
Are there mean ones?
Not
There are
anymore.
I wouldn't be too
Oh.
sure about that. Jack, why don't we have a chat? Carrick, but Jules, could you take Carrick to show him what we found?
Ah,
Can you show
yes.
Caleb as well?
Over here, we found some disturbing things. Come on.
I'll try and keep Jack distracted.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So Jack is just going on and on about, well, the other day there was this really interesting bird that hopped on over here. And it was hanging out up on there and it was tweeting at me. So I guess I'm not too scary, honestly. It's all right, though. Have you ever just looked down over, and just starts, it's like, I haven't been able to talk in a bunch of years.
But you were able to talk before. Very interesting.
I think so. I sure hope so. That would have been really bad if I couldn't have talked my whole life, but then I wouldn't know how to make words, and that doesn't make any sense then either. If I never talked, how would I know how to do this?
That's a great question, Jack.
It just goes on and is so happy. So you two
Go with and
Yes. So Granny, found something under the bed here, and I take Carrick and I show him the skeleton wrapped in chains. Here lies terrible.
Well, we know why the ghost was covered in embers.
Yes, so he was definitely burned here in the house.
Which means at least parts of the timeline that we have been given are wrong.
So wrong. Just so wrong. This was intentional. Did you see the chains?
Yes. The question is this the work of someone in the town? Or was there already something in this house? I don't think it was Arlena, but maybe. Maybe. Maybe it was the child. I don't know.
You think the child did this?
No, I don't know. We know that something happened to the child, that they got better, and then all of this happened. And we have seen a child who has appetites and powers that no child should have.
That is true.
I'm not saying she did this. Maybe what she is now is because of what happened here. But we don't know. I do think we have to do what I had hoped not to.
Dig up some graves.
Dig up some graves.
Roger that. I'm just gonna. Would it be. No matter what, I would like to bury him as well, no matter what we find in the graves. How do I do that without incurring some kind of wrath? Actually, DM, can I turn to the side and just wait expectantly, like wait for an answer from the voices as I ask that out loud?
So as you say that, you just kind of get the look of like they're looking at each other like fucking brave, okay. And then be respectful.
So I shouldn't put it in a bag. No, you're right. You're right.
I think we will. If we disturb the earth,
They're like motioning at the chains, going
we
like,
can do our best to give this the respect that it already should have had.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And when I say that I'm not the only one who hears voices, I'm not the only one who speaks to ghosts, am I?
Hi.
well, go on, tell him.
I was asking you how to be respectful for ghosts.
Okay, you
I
ain't
am not
fooling
trying
anyone.
to pry.
Shut up.
I'm not trying to pry.
Mm-hmm.
He is trying to pry, but you're not lying.
Mm-hmm.
But if any of that is true,
Mm-hmm.
I may be one of the few people who, I don't want to say can understand, but has some shared experience.
Right. Right. Well, I don't have a dead wife, so no. But let's shall
we're
we?
still not married. That's still a thing that we're not doing.
Okay. All right. And I just take the chains.
Wait one moment.
No.
If that is Jack, or what remains of him,
Mm-hmm.
do you want to drag his chained corpse out in front of him?
Oh, the scarecrow. Your friend.
What are they doing over there?
Meanwhile, I want to say Granny's like sort of wanders over back down to like the gravestones.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, cause she didn't know what all the time. Jack, do you know anything about these gravestones here?
They make me sad. I don't know why.
That can be pretty sad. Do you think you knew them, the people there?
I think he was sad.
Yeah, the man buried here.
Yeah, he was kept in a box, I think.
By who?
I don't know, but then I know he heard her crying. She was saying his name, I think, and I'm sad.
I'm sorry, Jack.
And you just see the like post start to kind of fall slowly over. The more he like stares at the names until it just kind of thuds.
Oh.
And then springs back up. Well, hey, I'm Jack. You are?
I'm Sophia.
Sophia.
Nice.
That's really nice to meet. I have not been able. This is cool. I didn't know I could talk.
But we were just speaking.
I drew you a mouth.
Oh, that's real nice. Thank you. We were. Well, I'm sorry about that. I have a bad memory, I guess. It's probably all this straw up here, and he like shakes his head a little bit.
He only had a brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. I could probably remember things.
Hmm.
At this point, I think we probably emerge back out.
Yeah.
It's.
Well, that's a big guy.
Oh yeah.
Perhaps some of our party could take Jack for a walk.
Oh, you already know my name. That's really nice.
My name is Ken.
Granny reset him.
He can be reset.
What's reset?
Oh, nothing, dear.
A chance to make new friends.
Well, that sounds kind of nice, actually.
Well,
Perhaps some of us can remain and do something here. And I gesture to the graves.
yes. Well, perhaps old ladies should, take a gentle stroll, and strapping young dragons should do some manual labor. We
I
can.
used to
just
do
bows
manual
his head.
labor.
Oh yes, but we need you to show us around. This is your stomping grounds, right?
Literally, because I make little stompy holes. Watch. Like hops up and down a little bit.
Oh, that's impressive. Wait, can you show me where the best birds to scare are? I would love to see that.
Oh, sure. I don't like to scare them, though, but I can show you. There's a whole bunch over this way. There's a whole family of blue jays. They like to peck at me, but they're really cute, so I don't really care. And he starts, like, hopping.
Yeah,
towards,
Granny,
this
like,
ledge.
winks over her shoulder and then walks after him.
Which of you wants to go with her just in case Jack has a change of heart?
I would rather not dig up a grave. I will escort her. I say that like as he's like hopping away, like not hearing that.
Holler if you need us.
We'll
So
just
how are
be
you?
digging up
How are you digging
graves.
this? How are you digging this hole? And how quickly are you digging this hole?
I mean, I would say I would first look around
Boulders.
and see if there's anything resembling things like shovels or tools, given that this used to
There
be a
are.
homestead.
Yeah, there are. I mean, there's a fair amount like some of it's not in great repair, but in a pinch. So 2 questions. How deep are you digging?
Oh,
I mean,
what's the standard? I would know this.
6 feet under is a good place to start.
Yeah.
Okay. How you dig?
And if we found tools, I would give Jules the better tools, and I would scaled claw it up.
Yeah. And I'll say you guys spend a while. So, Kai and Granny, are there any questions during this probably hour or so, at least, a couple hours that they're digging? Are there any questions that you would specifically have asked Jack, or information you would have tried to get out of Jack?
Probably would have asked him, like, I just tried to figure out, like, what knowledge he has of where he is. Like, do you know any people in town? Like, who do you, like, I probably would.
I've never been to town.
Okay. Do
So
you know
there's-
any people? Like, do you have any friends? Do you have other Scarecrow friends? Sort of like,
Not anymore.
oh, what happened?
They quit coming.
When?
I don't get played with no more anyways. I hadn't seen people in a bunch of days, and I hadn't seen scarecrows in a few days.
Mhm.
They weren't very nice, though. They didn't really talk either.
So, like, Jack be nimble, Jack be quick.
Oh, Jack jumped over that candlestick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't jump high enough.
They weren't. One of them was real good at jumping. But yeah, they weren't very nice. And like to try to light me on fire mostly. But it was
I
something.
moved that jar of dirt with the heart in it like deeper into my bag. Like
You've got a jar of dirt.
and guess what's inside it? Your friend Jack. You nimble.
Any other questions?
Did you ever hang out with a little girl?
Oh, a long time ago, yeah.
He said there were 3 of them. There are 3.
Well, there's 3 people and a little girl.
3 people. Interesting.
Yeah. If you
Do you
call them
remember?
that.
Do you remember their names?
No.
Hmm.
Are 2 of them the other scarecrows?
No.
Were they humans?
Not really.
That's a provocative statement. Not really.
I mean, they look like it, but they're not. But they are, but they're definitely not.
Are they dead or ghosts?
Nope.
Were they possessed or just shape-shifting?
I don't think so. Funny
This
looking.
happened the last time we questioned it.
What happened?
Who are you asking?
All right.
Y'all are funny.
Oh, that's us. Just a funny old lady and sea witch.
What a witch.
Oh, I'm sorry. What do you
What a
witch?
hunter.
I don't
Very
like
good
that
hunter.
word.
which word? Witch?
Yeah, I don't like that word.
I think
A
it's
bunch of
beneath-
people used to say it a lot, and then it got dark.
Do you remember chains?
I can't move. Hard to breathe.
Going to grab Grady's arm and just slowly walk back just a couple of steps.
Yeah,
waiting
as
for
it
the call.
slowly starts like,
Oh,
Wait a
Jack! Jack!
and
Uh.
and then
That's in
springs back up.
resetting.
Well, it does give us some information when he resets, is that we're getting on to something, probably.
So he springs back up. So you guys do manage to get the whole dug. What are you doing to the body to bury it?
Before we bury that one,
I need to know in great detail how this is happening.
because we're digging first.
You done to the digging?
Ferrex, but I'm gonna dig the other one too.
Okay, that's fine. It's empty.
They're both empty.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it.
There is a small box that you find.
Another box.
What's in the box?
There it is. Yeah, what's in the box?
It is a small silver locket.
Oh, that's not so bad. It's not a red ball.
I look at the locket.
On the inside, there is a blurry, kind of very tiny sketch of a family. Man, a woman, and a little girl.
Blurry, tiny, hard to register completely, but
You can tell the gist of it. It looks like might have been drawn by a kid.
right. So it's not going to be one where we can identify that it's this little girl or this woman.
No. But it is. It seems almost symbolic.
So this stays where it was left.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We do not rob graves where I'm from. We don't do that.
Closes it, returns that. As much as possible, we'll try to return that grave exactly to how it was. And 100% removing the chains.
So as Jack pops back up, there's a moment where you guys are having the most pleasant of conversations. He's going on and on about how happy he is to have met you and how lonely he's been. And about midway through that sentence, he just falls. Doesn't fall in the same manner. Just falls.
Yeah.
And this time he does not hop back up.
I sort of prod him with my cane, turn him over.
The exact mouth that you drew on Jack is on his face. But he lies motionless. As Carrick and Jules, you remove the chains. How do you place the body into the grave?
We probably do a lowering, so probably Carrick's in the grave while Jules lowers the body down so he can grab it, and then I guess
I
we'll
would
both.
lay it out fully, as comfortably, quote unquote.
And
it
Jules will start humming while we're doing this.
Go to fill it back in. So,
Yep.
Kai and Sophia. Jack doesn't get back up. In fact, pressing around on him, he's just a bag of straw. There's no heart in him. Oh, you muted.
I couldn't quite hear that, dear.
Muted.
You're still muted, April.
But I tried cutting him open to see if he's still got, I won't stab it, I promise.
How are you going to cut him open without stabbing him?
Well, I mean, I'm going to stab the sack in the outside and then open him and dig around a little bit.
You're not pitching this as a non-invasive procedure.
I won't be stabbing his heart, which is the essence, really, of, well, what I would consider what he really is.
It doesn't, and I'm like, but I'm like sort of proud of thinking it doesn't feel like there's a heart in this
You
one.
hear a thud against the wood. There's something hard inside.
All right, go ahead. Let's see what's just making this one tick.
I will get out my dagger and I will gently, surgically make an incision in the sack, the outer sack, to open it up and start digging around.
It's very quick that you find a rib. And the placement is very much where you would expect it.
Not a heart.
And it's charred.
I pluck it out. That's a bone.
Interesting.
Was the skeleton you found, was it missing any bones?
I'll be honest, I didn't count the ribs.
Nobody said, I want to see if there are any bones missing from this burn boy.
I wasn't, we would just sort of uncovered him. It was a rather ghastly sight. Wasn't really thinking too hard about it. Could have been missing a rib. Why don't you go and see if they've buried it? If not, maybe you can see. I'll wait with, well, maybe you'll both go down, but you can go ahead. I'll walk.
I would hate to leave you alone.
All right, let's go together. Fine. You've convinced me.
So you make your way back just as they're starting to fill in. It is in those moments that you see that the chains are removed. You inform them that Jack's not getting back up. You place the bone. So you have the
Can
moment.
I do something?
I was about to say you have the moment to finish this and to lay Jack to rest.
Yeah.
I know game-wise it doesn't have any effect on undead and the like.
Mhm.
But I'm going to touch my scimitar.
Mhm.
And I'm going to expend a second level spell slot to cast Healing Spirit. And for the first time, the party sees Lashana, a ghostly elven figure in black leather armor with long silver hair. And I summon her on the grave. And
As
it
she
cannot heal the
appears-
body,
No.
but
As she appears, she kind of looks first at Carrick and kind of looks across you all and looks down. And reaches a hand downward into the ground. And begins to pull up. And as she pulls up, there is a smoldering, smoky male figure. It comes up with her and he just looks sad. But he looks over at all of you and there's like this moment of almost recognition, just slightly, where he's like, and she just walks with him out towards that hill. Your concentration dissipates, but they go to the hill and you see them sit and look down at the town. But it's there that we are going to end tonight. with the party uncovering the depths of the twists and turns in this mystery and seeing that not all of the ghosts are so bad. So, thank you everybody who has joined us tonight and who has watched. We're going to go quick round the horn. Everybody, who are you? Where can we find you, right? You know, anytime in the next couple weeks, all of that jazz. We will be back for the next session and every other Friday. So not the coming Friday, but the next one. We'll be back. We're going to continue this and it'll pick back up on the spoopies because we can't help it. But my name is Taryn Hackett, also known as Valrook across the socials, generally creative human, TTRPG player and GM, dice maker under the moniker of Umbraloculus Dice and Eldritch Entity. You can catch me here on the Red Hare Inn on Tuesday, where I get to play my fucking cinnamon roll druid baby, whom I love a lot. So we'll be bringing that back. I love it. It's just so great. I love her so much. Keep an eye out. I got projects and other stuff coming. I have dice things coming. So do all of those things. Follow me on the socials. Do the thing. Shelby, where can we find you? What are you doing?
Yes.
What are you doing tomorrow?
Yes. Tomorrow you can find me at the Initiative Order in the morning. We are streaming Conan. Waves Stained Crimson. I didn't have to look at that. But yes, join us tomorrow morning. As I might die tomorrow.
Maybe.
Who knows?
At the hands of our very own innkeeper.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
very
So
own innkeeper here at the Red Hare.
join us tomorrow. You can catch me on all socials as Wish Warlock. I am also one half of Whiskey Reacts, where my best friend, partner, Haley Schumacher, and I watch our favorite forms of entertainment and drink whiskey. That's fun. We should be coming up with a new episode. We just, time got away from us because we're adults and we take vacation. That's wild. First time I did that.
Self-care, what is that?
So be on the lookout for that. And that's me. Yes, I'm done.
Yeah. Lizzie.
Hello, I'm Lizzie Donahue. You can find me across social media at the Lizzie LD. Can also be found here Tuesday nights for the Ecrium Expeditions as a recent addition. Get to play my precious dumb Herbo. So I look forward to seeing y'all then.
Yes, and making all of the sea elves blush.
Yep.
Literally.
Oh.
All one of them. I'm on that show. Daniel.
As anyone who's watching who knows, my name's Daniel Lieberman. I'm known by many simply as Dragon, and I'm one half of Dragon Rock RPG Design, where alongside my writing and design partner, Renee Beauregard, I get to create supplemental material to be used in games of D&D 5e. This includes new subclasses, races, monsters, and pretty much anything else you might want. You can follow us on social media at Dragon Rock RPG Design on Instagram and at Dragon Rock RPG on Twitter and Facebook. That is rock spelled R-O-C, like the giant mythical bird. There is no K. Following us there, you can...
Dwayne.
Yeah, not like Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, who Renee has a special place in his heart for as a diehard wrestling fan.
Yeah.
Which actually leads me to the other thing we do, which is you can find our supplements on DM's Guild, where we have a bunch of subclasses. We have our Rangers, our Warlocks, our Icons of Horror, which is 5 different subclasses based on different horror villains, and our Barbarians, which one of the Barbarians I snuck in a kind of wrestler ability sort of way for you to build one just for Renee and didn't tell him until we were finished. So
Good job.
it actually all ties together. All of these supplements are available as free pay what you want documents. So if you want to download them for free, if you like them, and afterwards and want to throw us a couple bucks, we certainly appreciate it. But more than anything, give us a rating and review. We want to know what you liked about it, what you want to see, so we can keep producing more things. In addition to our own designs, we also love working with other members of the community. I actually have the pleasure of often collaborating with the innkeeper Logan here, sometimes on stream, so Ecrium Homebrew, where you can actually get to see how we make these things. But we do collaborations and consulting with other people who are interested. We are also more than happy to create things by commission. So please check us out. Links to all of our things are on our socials. Renee, you can find on the Ecrium expeditions with those other two sitting at the table with me right now. So you can't escape Dragon Rock. Anyways,
No.
Thank you.
Not at all. All right, April. Where can we find you?
Okay, my name's April Hill. You can find me at stiletto_assassin on Instagram and stiletto DM on Twitter. And tomorrow night, you can watch the chapter finale of our cyberpunk game over on Cybernation Uncensored. But before that, on the initiative order, you can watch a bunch of my friends playing in a cyberpunk one-shot. So using the Tassorian system, Cyberpunk Red. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So that will be tomorrow night on the initiative order. And then directly after that, I will be playing on Cybernation Uncensored. So lots of cyberpunk, awesome goodness tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you guys so much. I hope you had fun. I certainly did. You got to meet one of my favorite babies ever. So with that, we are going to be rating, I think that's Valor Studios. What can I say? I'm good at reading words. I'm just going to adopt the Ronin attitude with this and be like, I'm the best at making words sound bad because I'm Ronin Fox and I can't say words good. But thank you guys for watching so much tonight. And we will catch you next time where we continue this mystery and get to the bottom of the grave, of the mystery. So thank you.
We already got to the bottom of the grave.